Picture this. You walk into a bustling room only to meet an invisible barrier that isolates you, turns you into an intruder in your own life. This isn't a dystopian tale, but a chilling reality for those wrestling with social anxiety. Social anxiety is a complex condition that can take root and flourish from a multitude of sources. It may sprout from the seeds of childhood experiences, blossom from the harsh realities of bullying, or be nurtured by traumatic events. It can also be an inherited trait passed down through families like an unwanted legacy. Typically, it's a complex cocktail of both nature and nurture. It often presents as a crippling fear of social interactions, an unseen spectre looming over people's lives. Amongst family and friends, it often dwells in the shadows, an unspoken elephant in the room. Let me share a personal story with you. When I was young, I would wander around the school playground all by myself, my gaze glued to the floor. A sense of loneliness gripped me, an embarrassment that I couldn't mix with the other kids the way they did with each other. The feeling of being socially awkward trailed me into adulthood. The truth is, most people allow social anxiety to dictate how they live, rather than mastering their anxiety to navigate life on their own terms. Post-school, I found myself subtly drawn into back-office roles, positions that conveniently allowed me to dodge the social interactions that my anxiety made so daunting. In my personal life, I found myself caught in a paradoxical tug-of-war. I craved meaningful connections and rich social interaction, yet I found myself masterfully dodging them at every turn. In my personal journey, I discovered a curious pattern. I gravitated towards those radiating the confidence I felt I lacked, finding solace in their ability to command social spaces. Yet this comfort had its price. By relying on them to navigate my social interactions, I inadvertently placed myself in their shadow, stifling my own voice and growth. And ironically, these were the very people that found it hardest to understand the struggles I faced. But here's the thing. When we let anxiety dictate our choices, when we resort to isolation or introversion to avoid discomfort, we inadvertently feed the very problem we wish to escape from. Such actions only widen the social skills gap between us and our peers, further entrenching us in our fears and insecurities. But the power to change lies with us. As Walter Anderson rightly said, nothing diminishes anxiety faster than action. So let's start taking action. There is a plethora of tools and strategies available to challenge and overcome social anxiety. One doesn't have to live a life tucked away in the shadows, avoiding social situations and unable to express their authentic selves. For starters, various therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, and even group therapy can be incredibly beneficial. Self-help and personal development books is probably where most people get started when it comes to overcoming their social anxiety. The first book I ever read on the subject was Overcoming Social Anxiety and Shyness by Gillian Butler. In my own journey, I found that reading about social anxiety and undergoing therapy were crucial to increasing my social confidence. But to truly make a difference, I also had to work on my social skills. Because social skills and social confidence are two separate things. By having social anxiety throughout my childhood, I completely missed out on the essential steps that every child should have of developing speaking skills. I can recall years in school when I could count the words I said in class on one hand, giving only one-word answers in group settings. As time went by, I saw the gap between my social skills and those of my peers getting bigger and bigger. Years went by, even decades. Eventually I realized I just had to start. The good thing about rock bottom is that doing anything is a win, so I just started vocalizing, to actually articulate my thoughts out loud, even when I was by myself. While it sounds trivial, it was actually my first step toward becoming a more confident speaker. Eventually, you have to stop saying one day and say day one. If you find yourself in a similar position, understand that it's not your fault, and most importantly, it's not a life sentence. Focus on what you have control over. Learn as much as you can about social anxiety and start growing. We can develop our skills, build our confidence, and step by step conquer our anxiety. Let's not forget, learning new skills is incredibly empowering. Engaging in activities like public speaking, participating in improv classes, or attending networking events will gradually build your social skills and confidence. Let's not overlook the significance of lifestyle adjustments. A good night's sleep, a balanced diet, and regular exercise can greatly aid in managing symptoms of anxiety. We also have the world of technology at our fingertips. Mental health apps, online counselling, and virtual support communities are readily available and can provide invaluable assistance and guidance. There are many people who haven't yet dared to face their social anxiety, choosing instead to live lives shrouded in fear and isolation. They point fingers at their genetics and circumstances, perpetuating a cycle of anxiety and behaviour that, if unchecked, will be inherited by the people closest to them. But as I've laid out, there are countless methods and strategies to confront and manage your social anxiety. In the face of this abundance, there is no room for excuses. If you choose not to try, if you choose to remain stagnant, then you're denying yourself the freedom you deserve.